Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to our weekly COT review. Today we're going to be analyzing the 11th Commitment of Traders report of 2022. And as we always do, we shall start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials positions. But before we jump to the review, just a brief reminder for those of you who are new to COT analysis, here at COTBase.com we offer a lot of educational material explaining to you what the Commitment to Traders report is all about, how you can analyze it. We show you some great examples, and of course all the tools that are available here at COTBase.com. We also have some very useful videos as well that you can watch that will guide you through the analysis process, so give it a try. Okay, back to the review, and starting off with our first market, the South African Rand, with a 94% change in commercials net position. This of course is showing you the net position of traders, and red represents commercials, green large speculators, and blue they are the small speculators, or the non-reportables as CFTC calls them. And here we have that 94% change. This is based on a 52-week look-back period, which is, of course, this 1 year. And that's a huge change in traders' positions. Of course, if we jump to the 5-year chart, you can see that on the chart over there as well. We have seen great changes in the past, but I would not be surprised if we concluded that this recent change in this market is the largest change we've ever witnessed in this currency. So on the 1 year chart, it's really not telling. So I know it's a little bit different. We usually analyze COT changes on a 1 year chart, but based on the magnitude of this change size, we got to open this 5-year chart where we usually analyze the extreme situation, the stress level in the market. So you can see here we had an extreme bullish COT change signal March of 2020, which was, I would consider this to be an effective COT change signal. So you can see there's something happening in the world and traders suddenly move their position. So it tells a story, right? And of course, maybe not right after the report came out, but a week or 2 weeks later, you saw the bottom happening. So that's how I would, view this sudden change in traders' positions. You can see with a much greater bearish COT change signal what happened. This signal from June of 2017 was actually a successful COT change signal with this magnitude. Or we have a bullish COT change signal in the market. Actually, the data comes out over there just at that bottom. It's hard to see, but if you go on the 1 year chart and go back in time, you'll see that it would coincide with this bottom over here, pushing the market a bit higher. So what we can conclude from this very brief and fast analysis is that these larger changes may actually affect the market. So this time we are talking about a bearish COT change signal. So we would expect the South African Rand to lose value against the US dollar. Of course, we are measuring this against the US dollar. The extreme, of course, the stress level analysis became bearish as traders moved in this direction, right? So you can see bearish levels from 2020, January of 2020. What happened then, right? You can go back in time to June of 2017, again, bearish COT extreme. So with this sudden change signal, we are actually witnessing a bearish extreme situation as well. Let's move on to Mexican peso. Here we have a 52% change in commercials net positions. This time we are, of course, talking about a bullish COT change signal. We can go back to the 1 year chart. You can see there was a significant bearish COT change signal in the market back over here in the end of last year. Now, one might say, hey, shouldn't that be a bullish COT change signal? Sometimes traders shift their positions during that week while CFTC is gathering the information. So it could be that this sudden move in the price of Mexican peso was already within traders shifting their positions, right? So, but nevertheless, it is what it is. This could have been something that happened at the top, would have been much nicer to see, and this may be the case right now with this bullish COT change signal. So again, each market is different, and you got to go and do a historical analysis to see how those signals, let it be a COT chain signal, an extreme signal, how they, how the market reacted to those signals. And if you find that the reaction from the market is a little bit different than what you expect in a certain, another general situation, then, you can conclude maybe it's not the best signal. So it is a bullish COT chain signal pushing commercials to net long territory, large speculators net short, but we already see the Mexican peso rising. So in my view, I wouldn't be that excited about this magnitude, simply because we've already seen the market react. Now, one might ask, if this was actually a good buying opportunity, is this a good selling opportunity? No, I would not conclude that. Okay. And you do want to do a analysis on the stress levels as well. And then, of course, if you look at it, we had a bullish COT Extreme in December of 2021. It sort of held Mexican peso above a certain level, but not, it didn't really push the market much higher. Now we have moved away from those extremes. We are not at those significant all-time or close to all-time bearish extreme levels like the one we see from January of 2020. But we moved away. Now with this sudden change, of course, everything is back to more of a bullish territory, right? And that's why I'm saying this bullish COT chain signal should not be witnessed as a selling opportunity. I think the very important foundation of COT analysis that I always say is stress level analysis has a much larger significance and should be more important and more in the focus than changes from week to week. That's simply my experience. Okay, the Euro-British pound currency pair with a 49% change. Again, large changes here in this week's report. Moving to the 1 year chart, you can see the magnitude over there. And you don't need to spend too much time to see that this was actually the largest change in the past 1 year. It is a bullish COT chain signal suggesting some further strengthening in the next couple of days. Interesting to see both large speculators and commercials in net short territory, which of course has been the case for many weeks and months now, since October basically. So only small speculators or non-reportables are the ones who are optimistic about the market. Moving on to the 5 years chart, you can see the extreme situation, which is definitely pretty bullish. But don't forget, we are talking about a currency pair, and you can analyze the Euro COT data and the British pound COT data separately, and that's what I would be doing if I'm trading this market, right? So this is, this can give you some support, but I would put more emphasis on the separate analysis of Euro and the British pound. Moving on to large speculators, COT Extreme. Of course, we talked about the Euro-British pound pair. We talked about the South African Rand. So we're going to move over to coffee, where we have a 46 report extreme in large speculators. So really, that's in itself not a large extreme, but we can see that just in February, so about a month ago, we had that bearish COT extreme in the market. A very successful signal, as you may see. So we have moved away from those levels, and this is still in place. Have we reached a bullish extreme? No, I don't think so. I mean, of course, one might argue here from April of 2021 that was a relative bullish extreme. Sure, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we move back up, but it's definitely nothing comparable to the all-time bullish extremes that we can see, right? So those are the ones that I think are really clear, and one can expect major shifts and changes in the trend. Cotton is our next market, 33 report extreme in large speculators over here. Again, we've been witnessing this bearish COT extreme. It's still going on. We have not reached any bullish extreme, but cotton is much stronger than coffee. It's just simply, stress level analysis says that, hey, there's a bearish extreme building up in this market. We may see cotton, rise for the next couple of weeks and month ahead of us, so continues its rally. But if that happens, I'd be surprised not to see traders moving towards their bearish side and building up commercials net short positions, large speculators net long positions. So That's that. And last but definitely not least, another currency for this review, the Australian dollar, where, by the way, we had a larger than average change size, a bearish COT change signal. But of course, we are talking about the stress level analysis now. And you can see we had a bullish COT Extreme for quite some time throughout this early part of this year. We are now moving away from those extreme levels, okay? So this, I would consider this in the medium to long horizon to push Australian dollar a bit higher. This larger than average change size, though, could signal a bit of a weakening in the next few days. So that was all for this review, but of course you can do much more here at COTBase.com. You can look at all the different markets. You can look at the newest COT report types, other data types, do a specific data set analysis. You can focus your attention on one specific market, let's say the Australian dollar. You can analyze anything really that CFTC publishes in the Commitments of Traders report. Or if you'd prefer to analyze this report within NinjaTrader, the COT Base Pro, which includes everything that you just saw in this review, so the website access. But above that, it does give you the tool set to analyze the COT report within NinjaTrader. Okay, and you can download our data. So a lot of cool functions. If you really want to do a thorough analysis, then the COT Base Pro indicator is what you need. The iCOT intraday indicator is something newer. It is our own indicator. It does not come from CFTC. We really love this indicator. It's very helpful for planning, exiting, and entering certain trades, right? It is a short-term indicator. You can see this is gold on a 1-minute candlestick chart. We have these wonderful signals, and as you may see, the way the indicator was built up is it follows those rules that we are talking about in these reviews, the stress analysis of the market based on COT analysis. So we try to use AI and come up with our own indicator that fundamentally works the same way. So very useful tool. I hope you will give it a try. We have a lot of educational material on this as well. And truly appreciate your attention. Thank you very much for being with me. I wish you guys a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you in my next COT review. Take care. Goodbye.